There's a fine line between respect and fear, and most people confuse the two without even realizing it. They say they respect authority. They say they respect systems. They say they respect leadership. But deep down, many aren't acting out of true respect. They're just afraid. Afraid to speak up. Afraid to question. Afraid to be different. Afraid to lose their position, their comfort, their safety. So they stay quiet. They stay obedient. They stay in line. Not because they understand what they're standing under, but because they don't want to face consequences. But that's not real respect. That's silent fear dressed as discipline. And under absolute divine monarchy, that kind of fear-based obedience has no place. Because true respect is not forced. It's chosen. True respect doesn't come from fear. It comes from understanding. True respect is rooted in discernment, alignment, and honor, not in survival instinct. Ask yourself, are you really respecting the throne? Or are you just afraid to lose your seat? Are you serving with clarity? Or are you just complying out of fear of punishment or rejection? There's a big difference. Respect comes from the heart. Fear comes from the flesh. Respect makes you walk upright. Fear makes you walk carefully so you don't get caught. Respect makes you speak truth with discipline. Fear makes you say nothing at all, just to stay safe. But what's the point of obedience if your heart is disconnected? What's the value of service if your spirit is only operating under fear? That's not loyalty. That's slavery. That's not alignment. That's pressure. And that's not what absolute divine monarchy calls for. This structure doesn't need people who bow just because they're afraid. It needs people who stand with honor, serve with conviction, and walk in truth, not out of fear, but out of reverence for divine order. Because when you truly understand divine authority, you don't obey because you're scared. You obey because you know the value of the structure you're part of. So again, ask yourself honestly, are you respecting the right things? Or are you just afraid to disobey the wrong ones? Are you honoring what's sacred? Or just trying to survive in the system? Because if fear is your only reason, then your obedience is hollow. But if your respect is real, it will show in your discipline, your words, your silence, your actions, and your purpose. Absolute divine monarchy is not about forcing fear. It's about awakening purpose. It's not about controlling minds. It's about aligning hearts. It's not about making people obey. It's about calling them to understand what they're part of. So let your loyalty be out of truth, not tension. Let your respect come from conviction, not cowardice. Because only then will your presence in this sacred structure actually mean something. Fear fades. But true respect, rooted in divine order, stands forever.